I never realised how nifty it is to have a screen that flips out, actually. I always used to think it was a fancy thing to have. I need an auto cue. I don't need an auto cue really, but other people use auto cues. This made me actually start writing a script for the first time. That's the script I've started writing. Sorted. Okay, we're a step closer. But then I noticed another problem. You know that screen that I said was so good because it flipped out from the side, and you could see it from the front? I could only see half of it from the front, and that was causing me to sit at a weird angle, which I don't normally sit at, and it was causing me to sit too far back, far too close to the green screen, which I don't normally do. And I actually got decent chroma key off it, the green screen where you do the background subtraction. I actually got a decent chroma key, but it wasn't as good as it could have been if I hadn't sort of accidentally ignored all of the rules that I'd been reading about for how to do a good green screen chroma key. So I thought, okay, I need another screen of some sort. Now, I've already rejected the idea of getting a long HDMI lead and plugging it into the bedroom TV, because the bedroom TV is over there, so I can't see it. And I'll just be kind of doing this all the time, checking, trying to see if I'm in the frame, and that's just absurd. And I rejected that idea when I used the Zoom, because, you know, Zoom, this is a Zoom I forget to pronounce it, Zoom Q2N, which has got fantastic microphones on it, but the screen's on the back. Now, if I'm playing an instrument, I'm not going to move around that much, maybe, so you can set it up and just record yourself. And later models actually do have a screen that flips out, but this one I wouldn't be able to tell if I was still in the frame. And you could argue that I could just set myself up properly and then not move too much, but again, more YouTube tutorials just saying don't do that. You've got to have some sort of visual guide as to where you are in the frame, because you'll move and you won't know you're moving out of frame, and you'll talk, and then before you know it, half of your footage will be like that, because, I mean, okay, I'm not saying somebody's just going to lean up halfway through doing a vlog, but, yeah, you're going to drift out of frame. Maybe the camera might slightly drift because the tripod comes loose or something, so you need some sort of visual guide as to where you are. And of course, if I'm going to use a green screen, I'm going to be imagining that there's things on the green screen. If I can't see where I'm pointing, that's going to be pretty useless. So I started looking up screens, and I started let my eyes water at the prices. You could get brand new ones for about £100 or over £100. Those are the cheaper ones. Found some auction ones that I fought for a little bit, £30-40 second hand. But then I thought, well, the problem is if you go over about half price, then you may as well buy it new, is what my brain's telling me. And then I saw a couple that were a bit cheaper, but again, no, I just couldn't manage to win those auctions. And then randomly, as I was searching for other ideas, I found a reference to a vehicle reversing camera screen. And I thought, hang on, that might work. Now, the reason I wasn't going to go for it is because the new screens, the £100 screens or the £40 second-hand screens, which I never managed to win in an auction anyway, those ones had HDMI on them. And so then suddenly I really, really wanted HDMI for no good reason other than it was HDMI and that camcorder's got an HDMI on it. But I thought, well, I'm not really looking for a screen to make sure that my colour correction is perfect and that my exposure is spot on and for it to be high resolution. I just need a screen to help me see whereabouts I am. And these vehicle reversing screens, they're not HDMI. Well, some of them are actually, I suppose, but again, those start to get more expensive. Those start to get to the £30-40 mark, and then I thought, well, if I wait long enough, I can get a £30-40 one that's a proper camera monitor that actually has a mount that goes on top of the camera, rather than try and sort of bosh together a reversing camera that may work or may not work. But these ones, an example of these ones anyway, they are not HDMI at all, and I realised I don't really need HDMI. They've got composite inputs, so this is not a phono audio lead, despite the fact it looks like one. That's the mains input. That's AV1 and that's AV2, so they're just composite video inputs. There's no speakers on it, just a little 4.3-inch LCD screen. And what you need to do then, I mean, the advantage of this being an older camcorder is that it's a bit of an interesting camcorder, really, because it's on that transition. It's got an HDMI socket. Where is it? because last time I showed you a socket on this, it was not the socket I thought it was. So there's a full-size HDMI socket on this, which is quite neat. Normally they're mini or micro HDMIs. But it's also got a jack plug here for an AV. So it's got a composite AV output somewhere. And that's perfect. So that will go into this. And it doesn't matter if the picture's a bit fuzzy compared to HDMI. This is only an 800 by 480 resolution screen, pixel resolution screen. So it's not going to be HDMI anyway. But it is, what's nice about this, is it is actually a 16:9 widescreen aspect ratio. So some of them are a square 4:3 aspect ratio, and that would look a bit weird. And okay, I would have made do with it if it was cheap. That's the other thing. This was 10 quid. It needed a mains adapter to go with it, so you could argue that really it's closer to 20-25 quid. But the point is, I needed to have bought a mains adapter anyway to go with the expensive £100 ones, because the £100 ones didn't come with mains adapters or batteries as standard. And this one doesn't run on a battery. This just plugs in to, it's intended to plug into your car by a car adapter, but you can use a mains adapter on it. But the other ones could be mains powered, but they didn't come with the mains adapter. So I thought, well, so that's £100 plus the cost of a mains adapter, which I might not get away with. It's just a standard multi-voltage one. I might have to buy a special one, and so that was closer to £120 then. I've got this for about a tenth of the price, and it should do the job. Because what I realised as well, on top of all that, when this, I shouldn't have pulled it off. when this is on here, if I'm getting a special, really expensive £100 camcorder camera monitor, field monitor, to go on the top of this, to go on the cold shoe mount. I didn't explain that, by the way. There's hot shoes and cold shoes. Cold shoe basically means it's just the metal bracket without any actual metal connections, whereas a hot shoe, so if you have a hot shoe flash, for example, a hot shoe can communicate with the camera and tell it to change its settings, or the camera settings get communicated to the flash, so the flash adjusts and things like that. A cold shoe just is the metal bracket. There's no data connection there whatsoever. It's just a metal bracket to mount things on. But yeah, if I'm trying to put the expensive camera monitor on the top of the camera, you've got the same problem. Half of the screen is going to be underneath this auto key. So actually, having this monitor, which I'm planning to just break by showing it badly, which I'm planning to just stick on there. It's got a little sticky pad, so I could stick it. Don't know if I want to stick it permanently, but we could try it. It'll just rest on the top, like that, and I'll be able to see both. So, plan is to show you that working.